So yesterday we have stopped where we were creating a button and we had created a few of the items in our pages. So if I run the page looks something like that. Yeah, the page looks something like this. Yesterday I was showing you we had an HTML or we can keep HTML with an icon. So to choose an icon for a page, we have to come to this property. So here we have selected yesterday as an icon or in text. But to select an icon, you have to select here. That is this one. So when you select on this, there would be some default styles or the icons that is already present in the system. So we need to select for that particular icon that we want, or you can also search by we can also search from here. I mean to say, like, style would be default. The category would be like if we are looking for a specific icon, we could take it from this different kinds of category we have. Suppose like form control, we have here a check like a tick mark, a circle, a plus, whatever it is. So something if I take as a click and I choose here, this is now my icon of my present submit button. If I click save and run it, I could see that in my screen. Okay, this part
Hey,
will,
Ashish, can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I was having some issues with the other headsets that I had. So,
Okay, okay. So were you able to get like what I just explained, or like it was because of headset you would not able to hear it?
actually, like, I was able to hear you, but you were not able to hear me, actually.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, right. So any questions you had, Prashant?
Yeah, you were actually asking, like, were there any
Right, right.
questions from yesterday's
Yeah,
session?
right, right, right.
Uh, like, I think, can you just give some kind of an overview? Like, I tried to do some work with the page and all those things,
Sure, sure.
and but like the issue that I had was like understanding like what items do we select, and then like what is the purpose, how they are used in real life.
Sure.
I was not able to figure that out actually.
Sure, sure, sure. So yesterday we have just gone through the text box. We have different more items. I will go through that today. I'll cover most of them today, so that you won't have this problem.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So I was just talking about the icon. So we can choose the icon whatever we want from here, from this drop down, and we have a specific category for that. Or we can just blindly search if we know the item exactly what we are looking for. Once done with the selection, we'll click on save and run it. We can see it in our page. Okay. The next thing what I was talking about is the height of the hot icon. If you click on the hot, it will be turned into a colored one that is a hot. If we don't click on a hot, it would be just a simple button as it looks, and a simple HTML button. Okay. Now, as Prashant is telling about, we want to see the different items. Okay. So if we will see in our first page, we have something like first item, and this is a text box as of now. Okay. So P2 first item is a text box. I am going to change this item, and I will try to make this as a different one. So if I want to make it as a text box, sorry, if I want to make as a select list or and drop down, I need to know first what values I have to show and what values needs to be populated in the front end screen. So for that, what I will do first, I will try to see my 1 second. You will come to know. Let me just take out the table. That's it. So if I want to make it as a select list, I have to go here and click on a select list. So we have many things here. We'll go the major ones. We'll click on this select list. Okay. Once I click on the select list, the item has become a select list, a drop down select list. But if you see there, we have something like a red color. Now it is in red. Red means it is a error. There is something like which we are missing in this select item. So we go down. If you go down, you will see there where is the error that we have in our component. So it now if we click on that, it gives me an drop down list where it says the select list that I am going to perform, that would be either a shared component, or it could be a directly SQL query, or it you want that to be in static values of select list, or you want an function to return SQL from an SQL query. Now, this SQL function body and yeah, only this SQL function body is the new which came up in 20.1. Earlier versions had all these earlier components. Okay. Now I will create one by one. So I am now selecting as a shared component. Okay. So when I am clicking on the shared component, that means I have already created this drop down in my shared component, as I was telling you as we were discussing in the earlier day, that we'll create this select list and all in the shared component, and then we are just going to come here and take the values that we have selected in the shared component. So what I will do first, I have to go to the shared component and create my drop down list. So let me go to the shared component. I came into the share component. I am clicking on list of values because that is a drop down list that I am trying to create. Okay. So I click on list of values. I will click on create. Now, do I want to do it from a scratch, or I want to just copy an existing one, or the drop down whatever I have. So I want to create a drop down from scratch. So I'll just keep list of values that is from scratch. I can keep any name. My name is like GPT name. Oh, and here again over here we have two things. Either you want it as a dynamic or a static. So if I keep the dynamic, I have to keep the query. If I keep it static, I need not to keep any query. I can just put the values which I want to show and the values which I wanted to go into the database. Okay. Let me keep as a dynamic. So here again, now I have my source type. This is now this drop down also how from where I am looking for. Am I looking for from a local database, or I am looking for a REST services, or I am looking for a web sources. Now currently I'm looking for from a local database. So I have just selected the local database and the table. I can directly keep the SQL query as well if I know the select statement, whatever I want. Or I can go and select this table, and then I can select the values from the DPT table. Okay, and then I can click on next. This is also I can do it. Okay, so which column I want to keep? My return column would be DPT name, and my display column would be dname. Okay, so this is what my list of values is. Now if I click on create, see it got created here, DPT name. Now I will show you if I want to write an SQL query, how we are going to write. Again from the scratch. Next, it is a dynamic dname name. Now next. Now I don't know the table, and I don't want to go like this. I want to write an SQL query directly. So I'll write an SQL query directly. So for this is the syntax. Select dname, okay, comma dpt b from this. Okay, and how we can check our syntax is correct or not from here. So we have a validate here. So suppose like this says me an DPT is an invalid syntax. So it would be DPT name and DPT number. Okay, and the validation is successful. To understand this, we need to know this syntax. This is syntax for our select list. So usually when we will write it, when we have to write a select list, we have to write something like this. Now what this is dname and dpt denotes is, so dname is what we are trying to show in our screen, and DPT number is what we are trying to keep in our database. We can keep the same column name as well from in our select list as well. So something like we can keep dname I want to show, and in the database I want to return dname itself. So I can keep my query like this. But over here, what I'm trying to emphasize on, we should have two columns, that is for showing purpose, and one is for the returning purpose, and both alias should be and both of them should be having an alias different to make to get this segregated. Okay, now I have created a select list over here, and then I click on next again. Return column is A or B, and display column is A. Okay, A is nothing but the alias name what I gave just now. So I gave my alias as A and B. So this is what it's showing, my return column and my display column. I click on, I say create. Okay. So I created just now two, DPT name and D name. Now I'll go to my page again. So I come to my page again, and in my page I change my item as a select list. If the page is having an error, so it is not going to save the changes that we have made last time. It is going to by default take the changes whatever it was in the successful state. So it previously it was in a text field a state, that is why it came back to the text field. Now I am going to select as a text select list over here, and I come down now and I can see my type again the same thing. I select as a shared component. Now in the list of values I can see my list of values, DPT name and DPT SQL both would be showing as I have created in the shared component, and I am choosing it from my shared component. Let me click as dname whatever we have created. Okay, now if you see here, there are two more fields that they are showing, that is like display extra values, display null values. I'll show you what is this. First let us save this and run this. Okay, now you can see this first item is in select list. So here we are able to see whatever the department we have in the DBT table. Okay. Here, if you see in the first row, we have something like blank row. So this is what it's telling about. Display extra values. So I have selected yes. That is why it is showing this extra values. And at the time the page has been loaded, it will always show me this extra value. Okay. So if I don't want to see this extra value, I'll click. I'll keep as no. And if in my list I had some null values, and I don't want to see those null values as well, so I'll keep this as off. So I don't want my null values, and I don't want that extra space to be coming in the starting. So I'll click it, save again, and then I will run it. So you see now that extra values is gone, and when the page is been loaded, the first value of the drop down list would be every time selected by default. This is select list. Now we have done it from the shared component. We can also do it from the SQL query. No need to go to and write everything. So shared component, why we have done it, because this is a best practice. And if we want to uh, uh, if you want this list of values to be repeated, to be used in some in other pages or in some other item, once you have created in the shared component, we can get it again and again. Okay. So in P2 item also we'll fetch it in the same way. But now if I want to have something like it is only used once in our whole application, then I'll go in the SQL query. I click on a SQL query, and the SQL query would be the same what we have just written. So I have dname, and so here I am returning the same thing. I'll make it first big. I kept as dname A and dname B. That is what I am trying to return, and the same thing I'm trying to show in my front end screen from a table with an alias of A and B. I'm validating my query. My validation is successful. I click on OK. I am displaying my extra values. I am clicking on save. Now I am reloading my page. Now you see this again, I am getting these values. But these values now, I have not created a component from the shared component. I have just directly written my query here itself. Okay. Now, if I come as a static values, so in the static values, you can see something like this: static values display 1 and 2. Now, display is what we are trying to display in our screen, and return is what we are trying to take it in our back in our database. So if I say something like accountant, and here I am returning like ACC, and here I have something like clerk, and here I want to return as only C in my database. I click on OK, save, and run. So you can see this. Now these values can also be seen in the screen, but these are static values. These are neither coming from an SQL query or neither coming from an shared component. Okay, these now the function returning an SQL query, we really don't use this now. So these are the three things which we mostly go through, and this is how we do it. Okay, this was for the select list. Now I am going to change it for some other different thing also. Like, are we clear till here? Are we good for the select list?
Yeah, one question though.
Yeah, please.
So now because we are using this Apex that Oracle is providing, so it is always going to be the latest version.
Right.
Right. So in my development environment or in my production environment, like, is it going to be like, if I haven't installed,
Sure.
is it like really, does the Apex version depends on the database version that we are using?
Okay, so this Apex version, whatever we have, it is compatible with all the Oracle database version. Okay, so it is not really required. Like if Apex has just released 20.1, we need to go and install 20.1. It is not like that. If we are already having some older version like 18 or 15, and still the business is running on that, so that would not create a problem for the business.
No, I think my question is, let's suppose I like in my database version is I'm running on 12C.
Okay.
Can I have Apex 20.1 version installed?
Okay. So in your database 12.12c, we can install 20.1. We can also install 19.1, 18.1, 4.1.
Okay,
Any of the version, it is compatible with all the versions.
okay, okay, got it. Thank you.
So this was about the select list. Now I am going to change it. Now let us go one by one. So I have something like a checkbox. So my checkbox would be a checkbox only. So if I have something, so here you won't find any error because it is just a checkbox. And if you're not having an error, we can see in our first item, we didn't got any red icon over here. So I click on save. After changing it into text box and run it, you can see this. See, in my checkbox, I have either accountant or clerk, or I can select both, any of that. Okay. So the type of a check, the type of that was in text box, and again we got these values from the static values. We can also write anything again from the share component and from the SQL query. We are not writing it again and again. We are just I am just going into whatever we have. Okay, so let me save it and show you once more. Okay, so you can see my item is now a checkbox and I can select the number of values over here.
Suppose if I want to say I want to enable only the user can only select only one, not all of them.
Yeah, right. We do have an option over here where we will select, where we will restrict the item with the one. Okay. Okay. Basically, this is the column where we will restrict it. Maybe the page is not getting refreshed, that is why we are able to select these many, but usually we cannot select these many. It will throw me an error. Just a second. Okay, give me some time because I'll get back to you because this is the setting where we will be restricting it, like how many columns we want our to be selected. But now if I am keeping a zero, also it's allowing me to select. I am not sure why it is giving me this error. Why this problem is coming. I will get back to you once I see it in my system.
Okay, no problem. Sure.
Okay, so this was the color checkbox, and we have a color picker and a date picker. Color picker we really don't do it. We don't use it basically. Color pickers is just something like where we select and color for our text field whatever we have in our page. So basically, so if you see here, we have a color picker, whatever the color we want to keep. Okay. Whatever the color picker we want to keep it. Then next we have a date picker. Yeah, so when we are creating any form or pages with a form, and we need to keep the date form the date field, then we will go for this date picker. Okay. Now the date picker also has okay. First, we'll see this. See, this is a field of a date picker where you will be having a date over here where we can select the date whatever we want. Or this is also a text field where you can keep the dates like 6 June 2007. Now, if we have kept any specific format over here, it is going to error out. If we haven't keep any specific format, then this is going to submit this value whatever I have kept. Now, as it says now, it doesn't have match our format. So the format here is something like this. 4/10/2020, then it is going to add. If I write it into May June, it is not going to submit this form. Okay, here also we have something like minimum date and the maximum date. This means the maximum date, the minimum date is like if I want to keep any validation by, like if I want my future dates only to be shown, and future like only 2 years date since now, so I have to I'll keep that date here. And if I want to keep my minimum date over here, like I want to show it from this date, the previous date should not be seen, like it should be uh, grayed out. I wouldn't I the users should not be able to select this, so I'll keep a minimum date and a sys date here. Okay, again it says me it doesn't matches my format. So if I am having any error, my error would be something like this. Okay, where I would be seeing what error I have got. Okay, now this format is not acceptable. That is what the error is saying me, and it should be in a YY month and the date format. So if I keep something like
Maybe you can use a trunk sys date.
my trunk sys date would not have, okay, no, my trunk sys date, again it will not work because that is not going to give me in this specific format that my Oracle is looking forward. So Let me just save it and run this and see. Okay, so can you see this? Now my earlier date has been grayed out. So because I have kept my minimum date as whatever the date I wanted. Okay, and my maximum date also I'm going to keep as like that. So what will happen uh, if I keep my maximum date after like 2050 2022, my futures date would be seen in my screen, but I would be not be able to select those dates, as from here I cannot select these dates. I can only view my dates, my current dates. Okay.
But the thing is, like, you are actually giving a static value there for the minimum value. But in the application, I may not have always the static value, right? Like maybe like I want to show the sys date -1 always.
Right. I completely agree. Like it is not recommended here to give a static value. So what so for this, what we are going to do also, for this item I am going to create a validation. So in that validation I will not give the static value, and I will restrict my item for sysdate, my sysdate. So below sysdate I cannot do it. I will once I am going to the validation I will show you. But over here, as it is not taking, so we cannot write sysdate directly here.
Okay, what are the other settings that it has? I show on.
No, it is not going to, because it is looking for this specific format. If I'll not keep this in my specific format, the page is going to throw the error for that item.
So where exactly is that format is coming from though? Like, that there is some kind of a setting that it is DDMM.
No. We see like the error that we are seeing in our page here. We have no, these settings. We will not do it. It will be there by default when the once the page has been created from the Oracle itself. I mean to say, it is a default setting that is there from the Oracle itself.
Okay, so like is that when like you define that field as a date field?
Exactly.
Is that where that you can select the format of that date field and all?
Um, Over here we cannot change the date field format. We can only select the date like the field that I want, but I cannot exactly change the format of the field over here.
Okay.
Oh no, this is something else again. Okay, yeah, I can do it from here as well. The questions that you are asking me. By default, it is now what we can see this. The if I keep it some different format, I can change it. So if I keep it as 12 Jan, I think I would be able to do it. Okay, 1 second. Right. Now, if I keep it as this date, oh no, just give me a second. YYMMDD, YYMMDD. Okay, format. YYMM.
No, that format is not here at all. This has a hyphen there.
Right.
It doesn't really have a hyphen.
Yes. I was just looking like if I can do it from there, but I don't think I can do it from there. No, I cannot do it. No. No, it is not possible. It is not possible for me from here to do keep the sysdate and keep directly that validation. I have to write that validation myself. I can keep the format however I want it to be seen in the front end screen from this format from the format mask, but I cannot keep this validation whatever we were trying to write over here right now. Minimum date and the maximum date. What I was trying to show you.
Okay, can you go to that date, to that, can you run that application and then,
This whatever this is what you are telling me.
no, run the application
Okay.
and then go to that calendar.
Yeah.
Here, you can only either click next month or previous month.
No, 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 no. If you click here,
You can only skip by 1 month, a month, 1 month only, right? Suppose
right,
if I want to skip years
I can do it.
separately and or months separately.
Right. I understand that what you're telling. Just give me a second. We can do that one as well. So let me keep the DDMM YY. We are able to do it basically. I have done that. Okay, I am not able to select the, but why not? Okay, can you see this now?
Yeah.
So I can do it. So what I did here, I only enabled this feature of navigation list for, and here we had none by default. I just changed it into months and year.
Okay.
I save it and I just ran that. That's it. So basically, this kind of thing is possible, and when this tool is being built, it takes care of this, but not pretty sure why this sysdate was not keeping. I will write. We'll sure we can surely write a validation for this, but by the inbuilt functionality also it should be there, but it hasn't given that functionality.
Okay, so when you say that you can write a validation, it's going to be validated only after you select that value, right? Like
Yes.
if you write a validation, that's like a minimum date has to be
Right,
like
right.
today's date.
Correct. Now you are true. Now coming to that point, when my validation is going to be fired, if I am clicking on some of the action to be performed. So if I am clicking on the submit button, then my validation would be fired. Before that, my validation wouldn't. It would not be fired,
Yeah.
because validation can be done in some event, either a pre-processing or a post-processing. It cannot be done when I am just writing filling my values in my text box.
Mm.
Okay, so this was about my date picker. Display only, display image like is like when we want to display any image in our screen. So this is what this text box talks about. display only. Now this display only is like we want to show the value in the screen, but we don't want to really want the user to manipulate the values in my content screen. So this is the a place where I'll give only display only. Okay, if I save it and run it, I think we can see it. Okay, we can see now our value is 10 April 2020, and I am not able to select or change anything. So this is like display only. Okay. Next we had a file browser. File browser, we use it when we try to do upload functionality, or we try to save a particular file for an individual against an individual item. That time we'll go for this file browser. So
Okay.
if you see it here, so yeah, so it would be something like this, where we can select this from our local desktop, the file level where we wanted, whatever we want, and we can just save it into our database. So this is what is a file browser. Next we have,
In
yeah,
question there,
yeah, please.
like in real world, like if there is some like a large file that you are uploading, is it a normal practice that like you save that as a database or value, or do you normally check get the URL for that particular file and then save it? Suppose say like I have the file on the shared drive, and
Right.
like I really don't want to load the file and take more of database space.
Right, got it. So this functionality will not go for a big database files. You are telling about the blob and the clob file. You want to slave as a clob, but you want to keep the link as a blob. So this is what we are looking for, right? So here basically we'll not go for those big files. If we have something like where we are going to upload any Excel, or like we have suppose we have an employee with 50 people that is joining in our team, and those 50 you need to just keep we need to upload it one time, and you need to be that get loaded in your system. That's it. So
Okay.
those kind of scenarios will go for this file browser.
Okay.
We don't want to keep really a reference of something where we have a huge file of a database into a system. Then we are not going to do something like this. And one more thing, for this file browser, when we are doing it by default, we have an Apex application temp files. This is an uh, temporary file of Oracle Apex itself, where what it happens when we are when we are browsing any item, any value in our from this text box, it is going to save it into the Apex application temp files for a meanwhile, till our session has been ended, and then from there we need to extract it and get it into the database. Or what it will simply do, it will just extract it from here from the temp file and will show you in the front end screen. I mean to say here, but it is not going to save in our database. Chandra, are we clear? Like please ask me if you are having any doubt. Like, are we good till here, Chandra?
Yeah, sure.
I hope you are getting it right.
Yeah, I'm getting.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So this was my application temp files, whatever I was doing, and the other one what I was trying to tell is the blob file. Now, if I keep my source type as a blob, it is not going to save this in my Apex application temp files. It is going to directly save these values in the blob file of the database. That is the difference between these two. So in my blob columns, I really need a physical database column where I need to store my values. But in my temp application, Apex application temp files, I am just going to show those values as in till my session is getting ended, and I can process my request just to show whatever the records I have in my front end screen. This is about my file browser. Okay. Now next is my hidden. In my hidden, what is going to happen? In my hidden, what is going to happen? I have actually this value in my form, but I am really not going to show it into my front end screen. If I keep it hidden and run it, you see this value will be gone. I cannot see my first value text box anymore, but that value actually resides in my page, but I cannot see that one. Okay, you see this. Next we have a list manager. List manager is nothing but it is going to give all the list of the drop down whatever I am having. Now again it is showing me error because we have lost that type whatever we have selected. So let us take the shared component and let us take the DPT name. Okay, now let us run it. My level now changed because of the list manager this got reset. So I have to keep the label as first item or whatever I want it. Okay. See here, okay, let me run it and I'll show you one more thing. Okay, so here I have a list where I am going to select something. I have operation to select and I am going to add. Again, I am going to select something and I'm going to add. So this is what the list manager is about. That's it. It is very simple.
Can you tell me like in a real world example where we do this?
Right, I will tell you. Now, we are making a employee system means this application, and in the employee database application, what we have done, we have a manager, and a manager comes to a responsibility page where he has to tag himself with the number of the new employees that has been added in the system. At the first time we can directly go and assign it from the backend, but when if some new employee has been hired into an organization and he needs to be tagged to some of the employee, and we have suppose like 10 employees that is there we needs to be added. So what that manager will go, he will go and just take that select that 5 employee out of that 10 or 2 out of that 10 and just go and add that employee in that bucket and click on submit. That will go and directly going to map that value to his organization structure.
Okay, got you.
So this was about my again list manager. Now we have a markdown editor. We really not require this. We have a number field. Number field is now everything would be same, but we cannot enter anything. It will show an validation error. It will just allow you to give a number in your system. Okay. If I click this, I will get an error. I should get an error because my numeric should be because my first item is numeric. I can only enter my numeric values. If I give this and I should not get an error. See, I didn't get an error. Okay. If I keep any other character, I should get an error. So that is what is numeric. My first item should be numeric. I yes, we can see this error, whatever we are getting. Now, this technical information only visible for the developer. This means this is showing only to us because we are in developer and we are seeing this what exact error we are having. But to an end user, as we said, there were three different responsibilities. So for an end user, they cannot see this. This icon, they can only see this first item should be numeric, means this section only, whatever we can see, that's it. Okay. Okay, the next one we have a password. So if we keep on password, we cannot see what we are typing exactly in our screen. It is just for the password purpose. Whatever I keep it, it will be as in decrypted format. We cannot see the what exactly we have written because we have selected the text box as in password. Okay. I want to show you here one thing um, we can see this better in the text box. Text field. See, I kept it here as an width as in 10. Okay, so if I keep my width as in 5, I cannot enter values more than 5 characters. It is going to, it will not, it is not going to accept the values more than 5 characters. Okay. Okay, sorry. Not here. I need to keep it here. Okay. So you can see I'm trying to write after my 5 character, but it is not accepting in my screen. So those kind of restrictions I can give it from here itself. We need not to write validation for that. And this value required, I was thinking to tell you about this value required. So if I click on this value required as yes, so this is going to become again a mandatory field for in the page to submit it. So this is now a mandatory field as it became. I kept it as a value required. Okay, so here we were about password. We have again percentage graph. This is we are going to see this later because when we are doing a chart, we can understand this. We have pop-up LOVs. Now, what is this pop-up LOVs is when we have again we are going to select the item for this first, the shared component and my list of values. My pop-up value, like when we have many values, it would be like a pop-up and the value would be coming up in the other screen, up in a pop-up screen.
I think is that still a number field?
Yeah, right. It was still a number field. It didn't. It didn't took that whatever the changes I made. Let me go to the page 2 again. Pop-up LOV. Okay. Now let me keep in this one first, pop-up LOV. And let me keep the values here, shared component and list of values. Okay, now as my this item is I think I got an let me delete this one. Okay, so this is what is the pop-up LOB. It will just give a drop down of, again, it is like a select list, but it is like a pop-up. It is coming up from whatever the shared component we have kept. Okay. Okay, it was in pop-up. Now after this we have a radio group. Again, this radio group is something like where we have 2 to 3 values where we can select. Okay, so this is a radio group. And we can see here as a blank. I think now we have enabled that blank item. That is why. No, not this one. Yeah, extra value. That is why when we will remove this, we cannot see anything more. That extra value. Yeah, we cannot see that extra value now. Okay. So this
for the radio group, if you you can only select only one.
Yes.
But for the other checkbox, you can select multiple, I think.
Right. We need to keep the validation from there. Right. So this is what about radio button, a radio group, sorry. Then we have a select rich text editor. It is just an editor, so it is just like a text box. So again, not required. Again, we have a select list. Select list we have already seen. Shuttle. So we can see something like this. We should see the shuttle. Shuttle is like where we can move values from one set to the other set. So I can select all of these values at once. See, I can select these 5 values and I can move all of the values here. So this is what is shuttle. I can either do one of them or I can do all of them. This is, we call it shuttle. And when these kind of values go and insert in the database, it would be something like this. It would be like accounting, then comma, sales, comma, clerk. It is like this. It is not like we are going to create a new row for the new value. Okay. If I need to create a new row and a new value, then I have to use some regular expression or something, and I need to remove this, take this comma and then put it one row as a value. But in this shuttle, it goes all at once in a single row. Okay. This, yeah, please.
No, I'm good.
Okay. This is a shuttle. Again, we have a star rating. Star rating is just nothing, just to show if we are creating any feedback page and we want to show that star rating is 1, 2, 3, 4. I can show like that. This is what is star rating. This is mostly required in some of the feedback pages. Then we have a switch. Switch, we do it usually for a yes or no. I want to keep it as yes, or I want to keep it as a no. Okay. So let me run it. Okay, so I keep it as yes. It is basically no now. Now it is yes. So this will pass me a value of y and n basically by default in my backend. So this is switch.
So if we are writing it like this value back to the database,
Yeah.
so that field should be a Boolean, right?
Yeah, right. That field should be an boolean. So if so, suppose I am showing or I am keeping am I so what should I tell? Am I a student of an organization or not? So I can keep either yes or no. That's it. Nothing more than that.
So the value that we return is what actually defines, like if it is y or n,
You're right.
and then that the field can be a character with one value.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. We cannot keep multiple values or we cannot keep a list of values because it is just a switch. So the switch will only have y and n. That's it. Chandra, any questions still here?
Yeah, I'm good, Ashish. I'm just following you.
Okay. So again is the text field. I think we have already seen a text field. Text field with an auto completed is like when we are trying to give some hint for that, and it is a text field. Then it is going to take the values so whatever we have. Okay. So I have a text field like accounting. Okay, now it is a text field, but now I have given a text field with the help. So it is by default prompting me the values whatever could be in for my text field. Okay. This was a text field with the help. And we have a text area. Now this text area is nothing but like a text field, but we give this text area because it is a broader size. It has a more number of characters to be kept. We keep these text areas mostly in the comment section of when we are building any page and we need to keep comments for anything, then we go for this text area. So you can see this is something like comment area where we write some comments or in any reference for our pages. So this is all about text area. Again, the length, width, size, we can change everything. Now when we are running this page, this is having 30 by 5. The height is 5 and this is 30. Now if I want to change it to 20 characters and if I want my height to be less, that is like, let us keep it 3 lines. So I can do it from here. See, my length got changed and my height also got changed.
Okay. On this text area, have a question here.
Yeah, please.
These applications, like normally, it can we can show it on a laptop, or suppose say if I deploy this as a on my iPad.
Okay.
And suppose that an iPad, I can actually write, basically suppose say I want to capture the signature.
A signature.
Can I do? Yeah, on the iPad, I can just write a sign, right? I don't really have to type in and all those things.
Okay, no. We don't have a text field only for the signatures. We don't really have that in our.
Have any field that suppose I'm building an application for an iPad, and then I want to capture that signature.
Uh, A signature in the sense like we can create any text box and we can clip we can keep as a text select area. I mean to say that checkbox, won't that be working?
No, so like, no, like if it is like it is not going to work on every display, but if it is an iPad or a mobile phone, because of the touch screen, like you can actually just do the signature. Like suppose say like I have a truck driver who showed up at my plant
Okay.
to pick up the load, and then like we show him, hey, okay, you're taking this one, just sign over here, instead of taking his signature on a paper.
Okay, okay,
I
no,
want
no.
digitally.
Okay, 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 I got it. No, 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 no. We don't have a facility for the signature text field in our Oracle Apex.
Okay, you cannot really
No, we
capture
cannot.
the digital signature. You cannot do that.
No, we cannot do that. We can in this comment section only you can keep as admin signature. That is something we can do, but only specific for a signature we cannot do it. We don't have it.
So like yeah, like suppose say you have this area
Comment
like
section.
like as a text area,
Right, right.
and then like if what are the different ways that like I can capture information into this field other than the keyboard?
Other than the, if it is a touchpad, we can directly write the values in our text box as well.
Oh, okay, okay, that's okay, okay. That
Okay, okay, okay. I think I didn't got your question first time. This is because of the keyboard. I am trying to keep it, and because my laptop is not a touchpad. If I have a touchpad, I can do this as a touchpad. And if you are talking about this scrollable area and all, this is in Oracle 20.1, means this newer version from 19.1. There's a feature called reflow, which is thereby inbuilt in Oracle Apex. So if we are keeping it into the iPad or iPhone, this text area and the text wheel is going to be auto adjusted. We need not
okay,
to really adjust this and see if this is overlapping the other. So these are like browser specific, where it gets things adjusted and it works as we want.
okay.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, this was all about, I think, the different types of uh, um, mm, components we have in our in a page. This is the what we have. Other than this, I think we are good now. But we can really do that in the text area. Prashant, sorry.
Sorry, say that again.
So the capturing of the text area, we can
Uh-huh.
really do it in our text area. I am 100% sure.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I would like you please to go through this, because if you go through, you will come to know. You would be able to let me know if any issues is happening in any of the type. So tomorrow,
Just
yeah,
to recapture, like what we have gone through is like we design an application like the first thing is like you have the page,
yeah,
uh, page 0, which is like that's fine, right? And then we define the regions, items, and all those things, right?
correct. So if we come to the page that we were there yesterday, so first we had a page. Inside the page, we first created a region. We, uh, uh, if we don't create a region, we will not be able to create anything. Once we create a region, we can either create a sub-region in this or we can create an item in this. So my item could be of any of this type, whatever the type we have just gone through. After that, we can create a number of items. We can create a button. We can adjust this item as we want in our screen to be shown.
Okay. Is there any limit on how many regions that we can have on a page?
No, there is nothing as such. We have limitations for the region. It depends on the number of items that we are creating in a region. If we
So
have, yeah, please tell me.
yeah, so the region is actually when we have the region, here it is first region.
Yeah, yeah.
Does it really have a limited space or something like that? Or if I define a second region also, so it will adjust accordingly.
It is going to do it accordingly. Now,
Okay.
let me show you. No problem. Just give me a second. I am going to create one more region. Okay, and this region is my second region. There are two things. I can either create as a sub region or I can create as a region as a whole. See, I just created as a region as a whole, just to show you if this is if how this is getting adjusted. And I keep this. I create two more items of my second region. Okay, one more. Okay. Now, if I read my space, the region would be one after the other. This is my first region and this is my second region now. But now I want my second region also to be parallel of the first region. So what I'll do, I will just come here. I will take my second region and I will adjust it into my first region, near my first region. Okay, let me come this down. Okay, I kept my second region parallel to the first region and I save my screen and I run it. See this? It got auto adjusted.
Okay, got it.
Can you see this? Now I can do it the same thing as my third region also, fourth region also. But if I'm having if I'm trying to create 10 regions, then obviously it is not going to adjust it because then it will be an overflow of the item that I am trying to keep it into my page.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. We will continue this tomorrow again. Tomorrow.